a mature adult who believes this new chapter in your life is the start of something exciting? Life after 50 is brimming with new opportunities. Welcome to Seniors Rule, Age Like a Warrior. Join your hosts Clare and Rebecca Sears as they explore what it means to age like a warrior, taking control of your journey, embracing the challenges of aging with resilience, and making a positive impact on your life and the world around you. Get ready to shatter the stereotypes of aging and prove that seniors truly rule. It all starts now. Hello and welcome to Seniors Rule, Age Like a Warrior, the podcast that proves growing older means growing bolder. I'm Clare.
And I'm Rebecca Sears. And today's episode is very close to our hearts. We're diving into aging with grace and positivity. We believe age isn't a limitation, it's an opportunity to thrive.
Yeah, so we'll share real stories of strength, offer mindset shifts and easy to do activities, and sprinkle in some eye-opening facts to help all of us embrace aging with confidence.
So let's start with the big picture. There's a perception out there that aging equals decline, but that's not the full story, is it?
Yeah, exactly. A 2023 ARP study found that 83% of adults age 50 plus say they want to stay mentally and physically active as they age. That's not decline, really, that's drive.
That's right. And let's talk about ageism. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 2 people worldwide hold ageist attitudes, especially toward older adults. And that's a bias that affects everything from hiring to healthcare.
Yes, I mean, that's the whole thing with the Seniors Job Bank. We're sort of trying to remove ageism from the workplace. And so there's an activity called Flip the Script. And it's saying to write down 3 things you love about being the age you are now, then share one with a friend. Shifting the narrative starts with how we talk about ourselves. And this kind of reminds me also about the law of attraction. That's been around for 30 years, and most people do it wrong. Most people ask for what they don't want because they're always speaking in the negative. So instead of speaking in the positive and asking for what they want, they'll say, I hope I don't get X. I hope this doesn't happen to me. And that's actually speaking in the negative instead of saying, I'm so excited to get X. Or if I do what I need to do, I will be better and I will receive X.
Right. And don't limit X. I always set that expectation. You taught me this.
Yes.
And more.
Or more, right? Yes, this or more. And so with this Flip the Script, the actual activity was how do we talk about ourselves? And so what do we think? What do you love about being the age that you are? So do you have one thing, Becky, that you'd want to share about what you love about this age that you're in right now?
I love the confidence that comes with this age. I love the humility. But mostly I love the fact that as I've grown older, I've grown kinder toward myself.
Yeah.
And I try and remember, especially that self-talk you're talking about.
Yeah.
I try and remember myself at like the age of 8. I don't know why I chose that age, but that's the age I go back to all the time. And I ask myself, would I say those words to an 8-year-old? Would I talk derogatorily about my body or a mistake that I made? Would I speak so harshly to an 8-year-old? And so I try and give myself that same grace and kindness that I would give a child. And I found that the kinder I am and the more loving I am to myself, the faster I heal and the more patient and loving I become toward other people.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really beautiful. And I think it's such good wisdom for our listeners. Mine was a little more sassy. What else is new, right? Mine is I've gotten to the point where I really don't care as much about what people think of me. And if they do have something negative to say, I try to pause, hear them, figure out if it's about me or if it's about them. Because sometimes when we're saying things about other people, we're really we're really reflecting on ourselves. It's something we
Is, yes.
typically don't like in ourselves.
Hmm.
So then I respond again. I try to respond from a very calm, kind place. And I have to say that that is growth for me too. I have a a second personality that everyone calls Jersey girl. And she can if she's mad, it's really like people are in shock. So I try to use Jersey girl persona not to be aggressive, but to be assertive,
Mm-hmm.
like in getting what's best for me and the seniors job bank and my family, like all of those things. So assertive versus aggressive, that's my plan.
Right, that's like tapping into your inner strength. A lot of
Mhm.
performers do that. They
Yeah,
almost talk about that alternate personality, and it's
yeah,
really just tapping into the core strength that they have to go out there and be able to perform,
yeah, that's
right?
great.
Okay. So we've seen so many stories of resilience in the people that we meet. Like Margaret, who started a pottery business at 67 after retirement, or James, who became a first-time volunteer at 72 and now mentors young entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's happened to me, honestly, I'm being honest, in the past 24 hours, I've seen the word resilience 3 times.
Mm,
So
never
I'm
know.
like, what does that mean?
Mhm.
So I even put that into ChatGPT. What does it mean when I see
Mm,
resilience 3 times in 24 hours? And it so that there were 4 things that came up. One, it could be a sign for me to reflect. So
mhm,
I'm talking about resilience, but I'm saying this to our audience. If you see the same word 3 times, like you're like, wow, that's weird. I just saw that word before, or before
mhm,
that, take the time to reflect on it. What does it mean? Maybe I've just recently overcome something difficult, or I know that we made a decision on something, my husband and I, that was driving us nuts.
mm,
So I feel like we hung in there and we were very resilient and we got to the best answer for us. So a message to embrace growth, like it's often linked to personal growth. And so I'm always open to that. Synchronicity, this might be considered synchronicity when meaningful coincidences occur in ways that feel significant. In this context, the message might be you are stronger than you think, keep going.
mm,
And then the last one, it's a prompt for action or reframing. So reframing is something we're going to talk about in a different section, but reframing is important because sometimes we need to reframe the way we're looking at a personal situation
mhm.
or a situation with someone else. But I thought that was kind of cool that I saw that word 3 times, and that's even Becky and I went to an event last night and
Mhm,
it was like there was a frame and
mhm.
then we had to take a picture of ourselves and it said I am, and you had to choose a word, so everybody guess what word I chose.
Resilient.
Resilient. Like, and I'm like, wow, why am I picking that? But I guess it was for today.
It's a similar situation where when you're getting married, you suddenly notice all the commercials are about getting married, all the
Yeah.
TV shows. When you're pregnant, all the commercials are about babies. So maybe that's like the message from the universe right
Yeah.
now that you have to focus on.
Yeah. So the National Institute of Aging says that older adults with a sense of purpose have
Mhm.
lower risks of stroke, Alzheimer's, and disability. I think that makes a big difference.
Right. So here's another tip that supports that activity.
Mhm.
So the purpose is a check-in. I love this. You've done this with me before.
Yeah.
So one of the ways that you can kind of yeah, check in with yourself is to ask yourself what gives me energy, what makes me feel useful. It's a great place to start, or
Yeah.
those questions. And maybe it's gardening, tutoring, joining a local cause, singing, performing. The purpose doesn't have to be big, it just has to be meaningful to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And in the decision that my husband and I were making, it felt like a burden instead of it was
Mm,
around something that could give us a lot of joy and a lot of freedom, but neither one of us could see that. We
mm,
could only see the burden and the work and the stress. And I'm like, okay, I don't want that.
mm,
I don't want to do this now. Maybe there'll come a time when the joy and the freedom is in the forefront. But obviously the way our lifestyles are today, we
mm,
couldn't get there.
mm.
And so we just said, let's just not do it now,
Mhm.
right? And so we didn't. And now it's like we both feel so much lighter,
Mhm.
like, because it felt so heavy. So I would say too, the lesson I learned from that is that if something doesn't feel easy,
Mhm.
especially when you're trying to do something that's fun, then maybe that's not the right activity for you.
Right, pay attention to how that's
Yeah.
making you feel because that the message is in that in and of itself, right? If
Yeah.
it doesn't feel right, it's
Right.
probably
Yeah.
not right. And we also don't give ourselves permission to just stay still in that moment,
Yeah.
like what you did. All right, we're not going to make this decision right now. We're not going to
Yeah.
move forward with it. That's a choice too, right? That there's
Yes.
action in that. The
Yes.
saying no is a full sentence. We've said that before,
I love
right?
that. No, it's a full
So
sentence.
so like give yourself permission if something doesn't feel right. It's okay to just sit on it and just be
Mhm.
still
Mhm.
and not force it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to move on now to cultivating a positive mindset. So
Mhm.
let's talk positivity. Studies show that older adults who maintain a positive outlook live on average 7.5 years longer
Mm.
than those who don't. That's a study, the Yale study led by Dr. Becca Levy.
That's huge. But it's not just about thinking happy thoughts, right? It's also about how we reframe challenges and remain open to new possibilities.
Yeah, so I did a little research on maintaining a positive mindset, and there were these five steps that I thought we could chat about. One was self-awareness.
Mm.
Like you have to be really aware of what is your attitude,
Mhm.
right? Not, just, don't really be aware, sit with it and say, how am I feeling at this time? Or why am I arguing with everybody? Or why don't I want to be around people? Like you just have to have that self-awareness.
Right, but I love how you're framing that because that voice is not beating yourself up saying I'm doing this negatively. It sounds like you're curious about
Yeah,
why you're feeling that
yeah.
way and having those thoughts rather than judging yourself in
Yeah,
that moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The second is practice gratitude. Gratitude is, I think, one of the best solutions for moving from a negative attitude to a positive attitude
I totally
because
agree.
there's always something to be positive about.
Mhm.
Even if you were to see something negative happening and you were able to say, you know, what can I learn from this?
Mhm.
And what could I do differently next time?
Mhm. Right.
The third is thinking about what is this situation trying to teach me versus why, and this is reframing that I said we get to that.
Mhm.
What is this trying to teach me versus why is this happening to me?
Mm.
Right? What a different, you're going to get to the same answer, maybe.
Right. But again, it's being curious about it
Yeah,
and not playing the victim.
right.
Right.
Right. And it's
Right.
very easy as we get older to feel victimized.
Mhm.
But this is about really maintaining your own sense of purpose and positivity and freedom, really.
Mm.
So, of course, number four, move your body. Take a walk. That always that brightens me up when, especially now. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous out. Maybe
It
not
is
today. If
beautiful.
it finally got hot, but all the green. Oh my gosh, it's like I love it. And then number five, affirmations. And I love this affirmation for staying positive. I am more than capable to
Mm,
handle whatever today brings.
I love that.
Yeah. And
Mm.
hopefully that will help you. Okay. Or again, you could when you're taking your walk, you could think about all the things that you're grateful for. Movement plus mindfulness equals magic. All right. So we're going to take a few minute break and we will see you when we return. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. So we're going to continue our dialogue around staying social and staying strong. And one of the best predictors of aging well is staying socially connected. The National Institute of Aging links social isolation to a 50% increased risk for dementia.
That's huge.
It is huge. It is huge. And the pandemic kind of gave
Mhm.
us an example of what happens when we're home and we're isolated and we're alone. There were many studies that came out following the pandemic referencing this. And as somebody who works at a senior center, I can tell you for sure, I see the benefits every day of our members that come into our center and connect with other people in a variety of ways. Some people just come in to have coffee in the morning. The guys come in and have coffee, read a paper, sit, connect, talk about social issues. And there's real engagement. And then we have folks that are coming in to do exercise. And so, of course, that whole mind body connection, not only are you staying connected to others, but you're moving your body. That helps keep your brain strong. Um, I think one of the things that can be difficult for people as you age, right? At times, there's a stigma associated with going to spaces where you're going to share time with other people that are aging. We have ageism from all types of
Yeah.
age groups, right? And within the senior population. I had a story of a woman who described coming to our center every week for 3 weeks in a row. And she was too afraid to come in because she was 65 years old and was afraid of the stigma associated with being part of a senior center.
Mm.
But she knew she needed to connect to other people. She knew she had retired and was trying to find a purpose and was feeling kind of lonely. And she also knew she wanted to exercise and engage in programs. So finally, on the third week, she said she was brave enough to come in. She walked in the center. She walked in, she saw a line dancing group and saw one of her very good friends, Francine,
Yeah.
dancing in the line dancing group and said, "Oh my goodness." And Francine came out to see her. And this woman that came to the center said to Francine, "I was afraid to come. I'm not ready to get to grow old."
Yeah.
And Francine said, "Oh, honey, this is where you come to stay young."
Oh, I love that.
And so I think, that story is a great illustration of the importance of connection, the importance. Don't be afraid
Yeah.
to join places, you join a senior center, go where there are activities. That is how you stay young, staying connected to people, moving your body, using your mind, having those social connections. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
very, very important. And that's why community matters. As you said, whether it's coming to the community center, joining a book club, attending workshops, or
Hmm.
using a service like the Seniors Job Bank to find volunteer or paid
Hmm.
work, it all adds up. It all adds up. I'm going into a new book club at the end of the month, and I don't know. I love to read. Actually, I am reading, right? When I do Audible,
Hmm.
it's reading, I guess. I don't know if I'm listening to books. So I don't know. I think I'd have to actually read the book, paper book, if it's a book club. Maybe not. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know how it works. But I'm curious. I'm curious to get involved and
Hmm.
see if I like doing it. Okay, so here's your call to action. Sorry, I want you to call a friend, visit a neighbor, or attend a new event this week. Just one step can shift your whole mood. And I will add that after I was reviewing this section before podcast, I wrote to two girlfriends and I asked them for two different dinner dates.
Hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to pick up the phone because I find that to be the hardest. I cannot believe that I'm alone in saying that the longer you're disconnected with someone, the harder it is to communicate with them,
I agree. I agree.
right? And
Yeah.
they're not sitting there saying every day, "What happened to so and so?" They're probably just as busy as you are,
Hmm.
and that they're very, very excited about that. Um, and I was going to tell a story. Uh, I'm going to tell it. My Aunt Barbara, she's 95 now, and she has more friends than anybody I know. And when she was about 85, I said to her, "What percentage of the people that you're friends with do you have to call first?" Because that's a pet peeve of mine. I'm always the one making plans. And she said, "I would say about 95% of the people, I make the plans. And I'm like,
Mm.
doesn't that bother you? And so this was a while ago. So like 10 years ago, she goes, when I was your age, Robin, that bothered the heck out of me. Now it's like a win-win because not only are they excited to hear from me, but then I get to see them and have a fun
Mm.
time. So she's like,
Mm.
I just got out of my own way. And so just know that people are just as busy as you are, or they have conflicts. And if you really want to see them, then you reach out
Mm.
because most likely they really want to see you and they're just very excited that you reached out.
Mm. I agree.
All right.
So
So
aging gracefully doesn't mean being passive. It means standing in your strength with gentleness and with grit.
yeah, because time, this gentleness, your strength, gentleness, and grit is something you have because you have this perspective because you have the experience and you can utilize self-trust because A, you know who you are.
Mm.
B, you've survived a lot. C, you're less ruled by your ego, meaning you're not as competitive. You just, you're more into
Mm.
your heart. And D, you've collected wisdom. So you've been down this path, I'm sure, many times. And so just know that you can do this safely. And also we have permission to say no now, which
Mm.
is so nice because there was a time when I was younger, I think I did.
No, it wasn't polite.
It wasn't polite, but it was like not saying no to work, not saying no to my
Mhm.
kids, not saying no to my husband, to my family. I'm like, oh my God, I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Mhm.
And now I can just say, no, thank you. I'm not available.
Mhm.
And so maybe I'm being contradictory to being social, right? And aging with grace and positivity. But again, saying no can be very positive because then you could go back and work in your garden, or you can do whatever else makes you excited, or you can spend time with your grandchildren, which brings us to um, the end of our show. We're here. We are here.
That went
So
by quickly.
yeah. Yeah. So if you like it, share it with a friend. And remember to age, yeah, that you're aging like a warrior. So thank you so much and stay strong, stay kind, and keep growing. And Becky, thank you so much.
Thank you, Robin.
Okay. Take care, everybody. Bye. Thank you for listening to Seniors Rule Age Like a Warrior. Join us every second Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Seniors Rule is here to dismantle the myths around aging, empowering you to embrace your wisdom and experiences as assets that drive personal and societal change. For more information and to connect with us, visit seniorsrulenow.com.